beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
Well, welcome along, everybody. We're back for some more SwiftX motor racing. Formula One for the NordVPN Hungarian Grand Prix at the 2022 Championship, Round 3. First time these drivers will be around the Hungary, so it should be an absolute crack. It will be our qualifying session with Budapest, of course, names the city of baths, with about 450 public bars and spas. And we need such of them with the hot temperatures. It's a 4.3 kilometer, 2.7 mile. Tricky corners, of course, 14 of them, 8 to the right and 6 to the left, where downforce is king and passing is notoriously difficult. And I am the Dean Biggles with Mr. Scruffy. We'll go down to the track side at the moment. G'day, Mr. Scruffy.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I am doing brilliantly. How are you?
Good. Back for some more motor racing, of course. Now, this is one of those tracks that is a bit tricky. Let me just pause this for a second and get back to that one so I can see everybody in the chat. Hello, if you're on the chat. Say g'day. Yes, how do you feel about Hungary, my friend?
Hungary's always interesting in the first place, just purely because of how difficult it is to actually be fast on the track in the first place. I mean, it's a fairly wide track as well, but it's not easy to run side by side purely because of how short some of the straights are.
That's very, again, notoriously difficult to overtake as well. Well, we're going to bring up some of our fancy gizmos that we do have here at SwiftX. And of course, we have our live sector time that comes up there at the moment. Presented by NordVPN, the quickest of all the VPNs. As at the moment, Will is currently in our pictures in the McLaren. Mercedes, I'll get that one right in a minute. Before we actually go, we'll just leave that for a second there, Scruffy, because we need to go over the championship standings.
Yes.
Let's have a look at that if you'd like to read over those championship standings for us after that round 2.
Absolutely. So currently we've had Eetu Lapalainen take over the lead of the drivers' standings up, and correct me if I'm wrong, up 3 positions from where they were previously. Then we got Luke Franklin in second, no movement there. Will Castle in third, dropping 2 positions, previously in the lead of the championship. However, last race was not ideal in Baku for them. Lenny Cook in fourth, up 1 position. Thomas Harwick dropping down 2. Peter Lockett in 6th. He's up 8 positions in the championship. This early on, that is to be expected. Followed by Luke Tenbrinker, up 2 positions, and Noah Idekorpi up 8 positions again. Maximilian Kloss and Joshua Bashford both down 3 positions. Jan Schief in 11th position. Jesper Ten Hacken down 4 positions. In 12th, Neil Scheffler in 13, down 3 positions. AJ Jackson up 1 position in 14th after the singular point. And Anton Larsen down 3 positions, unfortunately no longer in the championship. So that permanent seat, if I remember correctly, has gone to Joshua Bashford.
In the McLaren.
Remembering that?
And the Mercedes
McLaren,
leading
yes.
the championship currently at the moment, 65
Yes.
points. Just a little bit, of course, of Aston Martin. And then they're starting to build the gap down to AlphaTauri, Williams, Ferrari. Similar, I'm going to say that again in that way. McLaren, of course, now with Joshua being a full-time seat. That should help out their championship battle. Just ahead of Alfa Romeo and Red Bull, and Alpine and Haas still yet to score some points. Back to trackside. And let's look at our live sector times. E2's already set the fastest time. Will's about to set a time, which will be even quicker.
Wow. That is immensely quick. Who shall
Yeah.
jump on board?
AJ at the moment looks like he's flying. Fastest first sector, middle sector. Welcome everybody.
Currently
to the chat.
moving up very high. It's a difficult track to be passed on, but then you can gain so much time just on one tiny bit of the corner. Unfortunately, not a huge great deal of action going on right now.
Short
AJ
qualifying.
Jackson up in the third.
Up in the third. Short qualifying session that we're going to have here at the moment because of the 13 drivers. No point in doing a full qualifying session as we'd be doing nothing for the first part of Q3, Q1. Well, you know what? I think we should also show the fantastic audience who are supporting the SwiftX is the goodies that we have this evening for us. Now, if you're on board a car at the moment, we're going to check out our new fantastic picture-in-picture graphics presented by Digital Motorsports, and you can see right there that Scruffy's on board the AJ. So, multiple camera angles we're bringing everybody here.
Absolutely, and it does show a little bit. It is going to do a little bit of jumping around, but then, again, no technology is perfect. Especially when you're having to run it halfway across the world.
The Ferrari driver of Noah goes in the pit lane. What about Niels? Niels is on a flying lap as well. Niels Schofer, 27.7, 27.5. There we go. We've got the external, you've got the internal. So if he makes a mistake, we get to see it twice live.
Just as laggy as the old onboards used to be for F1. It gets a bit of immersion to it, to be honest.
So it goes up in about 2 seconds off the cuts. Luke has invalidated his lap. Thomas is on an out lap. Jesper Ten Hacken. I think we have to keep an eye on Jesper Ten Hacken. What do you reckon on an out lap right now?
Yeah.
Well, our picture-in-picture is working, which is great.
It's excellent.
I'll turn that off for a second so we can keep up this our NordVPN sector times and keep an eye on what he's doing. I'll go on board.
And it is just a case of keeping your foot down halfway through Hungary. Hungary's the danger is a lot of these corners are on a weird camber. Not all of them are entirely flat.
Yeah, you will take us on a hot lap right now of Jasper. You can, as you explained, there's a driver as he makes his way to sector 2 soon.
Exactly, heading down into one of probably the faster sections. It's not easy to get that one right either. Because if you go a tiny bit too far, you bottom out the car on the curb. This left-hander is incredibly difficult as well, and there are somehow overtaking opportunities through that sector, and I don't know how. Run too wide there, and you'll spin the car into the wall, as has happened many times. And this chicane is well known for people trying to send it down the inside and make moves where they really probably shouldn't. Going through the SS section of the track, it's just very fast-paced in general. It's difficult to pick between high downforce in terms of tracks, but I would say if you're going to pick something, you really want higher downforce than normal. 2.4 seconds up on their personal best. Whether that's going to be able to gain any more time back in the last sector is another question. Using all of the track available, coming round into the last corner right now, heading on to the start-finish straight and across the line in 9th position, 1 second behind the leader.
Yeah, so getting their first bankers in. There's a bit of a spread so far, you can see, between the top 11 drivers, and 2 drivers still yet to set time. No one's on a fly there now for the Ferrari.
Heading round into that fast chicane.
Have a look at the temperature tyres currently that we have at the moment too to bring up. It's just looking like a pretty cool, casual day. It's hot.
Yep. For now, of course, Hungary is well known for having weird weather. You can absolutely get wet races here.
Yeah, it's one of the wettest on the calendar, isn't it? Percentage-wise, that's what I think we were speaking about that last week. When you do remember, if you watched Formula 1 before, there's some of the fans that are sliding in the mud off the hills.
Yeah, exactly. It's when there is rain, it really rains. And here we go, onto the fast lap of Noah Corpi, heading round again into the start of the lap, trying to keep it up. The thing is, touching that curb on the inside is useful because it helps rotate the car. It's not so useful because it can rotate the car a little bit too much, and then send you off into the barriers. It's a slight downside of Hungary. There's a lot of curves and many of them are evil. And that runoff is...
Ooh, yeah. Those curves, those chicanes, like, yeah, I used to say that chicane right there, you just turned around. The white ones were the chicane of death back in the couple of years ago, let's say, in the game. I think it's not as bad as what it used to be, because I used to see people get a wheel on that and bang, everybody would be spinning around all the time.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of the weird things about the F1 games. Those curves aren't consistent.
And that looks like an invalidation. It certainly is. I didn't even see where he invalidated. That must have really been on the bubble.
He rolled very, very slightly. I was going to mention it, but he rolled very, very slightly across the line by, like, easily a sixth of a tyre. Whoa! Around goes the copy on the line.
Ricardo, here we go, in the Red Bull. That's right, not Daniel. Oh, that was, yeah.
Oh, dear.
Little twirly-whirly, a bit camera shy, I'd say, there for Riccardo Gabaretti.
What about Will Cassidy, who's currently starting his lap, I believe?
Yep, let's go on board the Mercedes driver, who just gets past some of the traffic slowing down to not in heat.
The main question, of course, is trying to make sure that he doesn't get held up by anyone. That's the really important bit.
Yeah, traffic.
Currently doesn't look like there's too much traffic.
You don't want to be approaching somebody in the high-speed corners around here, that's for sure. He's really throwing this Mercedes around, but not the fastest. So here's not a personal best for the first sector, as you can see. That's a yellow on the screen. So it's a 27.168. The quickest is a 27 flat, practically. So he's almost 2/10 off.
He's definitely gained some time there, because that's the fastest second sector.
Absolutely correct.
He's up by about 0.15, judging by the game's time, and he is about to come across a Red Bull.
0.004 of a second he was off, I think, Luke's time. So let's have a look.
Here we go.
Bang.
Oh!
Gets it.
300ths.
But Luke is responding with the fastest middle sector.
Oh.
And
He comes around to finish the lap.
We're going to see another Mercedes front row lockout. Maybe.
They are ridiculously even, these two.
That looks good. That looks very good.
Oh, we absolutely are, but only just. Blooming hell, and they've still got 6 minutes. I mean, technically, that is enough time. If you had 3 sets of soft, of course.
Yeah, they're on soft tyres at the moment. So yeah, you only do your qualifying on softs. I do miss the days of... I wish they should have still... Let's have a look at Luke 10. I do miss it. I think they should have allowed in the game of the option of you saying, hey, you know, you got to start on the tyres that you qualified on the fastest lap. Like that, I did think that was adding a bit more of a spin to the mix to things. as Luke goes up into P9.
That's not a bad time at all.
What do you think about that? Do you miss the days of, as a driver, having to start on the tyres that you qualified on?
It's an interesting one, but again, it does give people options, which is always an interesting part of it. I'm not so interested about what they're bringing in IRL with the qualifying, or at least potentially bringing in.
What do you mean by that, sorry? What are they?
With regards to qualifying on softs, mediums, then hards.
Oh, really? All three?
Yep. So Q1 soft, Q2 medium, Q3 hards. It may be the other way around, but it's
Probably the other way around.
to that effect.
Yeah, it would be the last...
Q1 on the hards,
Yeah.
Q2 on the mediums,
Yeah,
Q1
Q3
on
would
the
have
softs.
to be on the softs, exactly, because you want to set the fastest time.
But it's interesting, but I
Yeah.
don't know how much it do.
What I did miss was they did it for about a year, I think it was. This is going back a few. Let's have a look at Thomas's, improving up to P5. What I did miss was the Jasper's not really struggling. Remember, Jasper is our championship leader from last season, but the reason why Jasper is struggling so far, which he said to me earlier before the season started, that he's turned off that racing line, so he's got a lot of new things to adjust, and he said he would be off the pace. He is off the pace, but damn, once he gets it all hooked up without the racing line, you know he's going to be right on top of the timesheets all over again.
Absolutely.
But I was going back to that. What I missed was for the 1 year they had everybody had to do one lap shootout really. So and they'd go one after the other would go, and you only had your out lap, your flying lap, and your in lap, and then the next driver would go. So it was interesting to see how drivers can handle that condition of doing just the one lap. The only problem that I realized that they scrapped that. Ooh, there's a spin there from Niels. The reason why they scrapped that is because of the fact that your weather changed conditions, remember? Because you've got those drivers and you have to allow the time for them, all 20 drivers to go out. Or 22, I think they had at that time. But, you know, of course, if the temperature changed, there's a spin there from Niels. As the temperature changed, it would obviously favor whoever would be coming out either last or first and things like that. So that was but it was fun because all your attention would be on that one driver at that one point, having to put one lap in. If they made a mistake, of course, well, that's it. Your qualifying is going to be where you make your mistake. And it was interesting because something like, your Mercedes and that time the Ferraris and things like that, Niels just can't get this car around. Could get beaten by a Haas even. If they had if a Haas put a banker lap in. That's what was kind of exciting a little bit about that. It would allow other drivers opportunities. But anyway, that is the old school days and it doesn't happen anymore. Let's have a look at Joshua.
Josh's lap.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see if he can improve upon that. He's only 6/10 off of the lead. Absolutely ragging the rev limiter.
Yeah.
That's not a bug this time. That seems intentional.
Yeah, you think he's just capping it. He's not using any battery, of course. It's got it turned off. And getting the temperature into those tyres.
Which is, of course, smart.
And then to pedal to the metal time, and here we go. Sorry, George Morgan, I shouldn't be stealing your line on that one, but here we go. Foot to the floor, loud pedal activated, and let's go on board with the new McLaren driver of Joshua Bashwood.
Exactly, and he's going to have a lot of traffic to contend with. He's got past some, but he's got, and I believe that is going to move out of his way, which is smart. It's either Luke ten Brink or Jasper ten Hacken. I don't think he's going to have any traffic ahead of him at this point, but he's round. Oh, that is a terrifying view. Yeah. No one wants to be versus that view. He's got to just wait until all those cars go past him.
He was lucky he was right in the middle too, so they could go around the outside. So it was off the racing line for that spin. It could have happened a few seconds earlier than there may have been a few seconds later.
Oh wait, is that a Merc round?
There's Luke. Ooh, there's tons of traffic here. Look at this.
Are these Mercs trying to be a bit sneaky?
Yeah, they are. They're going to be following each other.
Is this going to give the tow?
Maybe.
Ooh, it's going to be interesting. I'm currently on board with Will Castle behind Luke.
Let's go out picture in picture, of course, yeah. So I'm on board with Will. I'll go on board with Luke then. I'll just go external.
Yep.
Let's go picture-in-picture, of course, presented by Digital Motorsports. Scruffy will be providing that picture in your bottom left-hand corner. We won't have the lap times, that's the only thing, but we'll tell you what lap times are. I'll have to fix that, Scruffy, so that we can have lap times up as well. Picture-in-picture.
Yeah, we'll be close. And it will be interesting to see if they're literally trying to give each other the toe, or they're moving apart now.
Yeah, they're apart as... Well,
Luke's going to go. I might switch onto the exterior view of this one if you want.
Yeah, go for it. Why not? Because,
once it wishes to change, and it will. Oh, then he cooks around.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's off completely, but you can do that.
Yeah, it's not changing for some reason. Change.
Oh, Luke's around.
Oh, that was really close.
Almost murders
My
his teammate. Just having a look at anybody else putting some flying laps in at the moment. We got Thomas putting a good lap in, and his teammate behind there, pretty much even Stevens down the road. Let's have a look. Thomas crossed the line, not as improved, but Peter did. His teammate up the road. Luke Franklin was out. Noah's still on a flyer.
Absolutely.
I'm not seeing any purples from anybody. I'm going to go back to our live sector times.
Here comes Will Castle here round towards the end. I'm going to just quickly...
Yeah, keep an eye on Will, but I don't think Will hasn't set any purples. So I think he's going to have to settle. Now, E2 Lapline, of course, getting in there and just completely breaking up that Mercedes party.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of them went the wrong way around the track, so dropped right down to 13. Qualified for the qualifying.
Yeah. And Noah, P8. So I think that's it for our qualifying.
That's
actually.
Luke.
Yes. There's Niels. Can Niels improve? No. There you have it.
It will be interesting to see if that 13th position stands.
Yes, they of course now because we'll have a little bit of a break before we get to go to the main race. And it's a main race this weekend, not the sprint race, and therefore they will be able to evaluate that and find out if Luke's time will stick. Because he should be pole because he has the fastest time. It's 15.3, but you know how tricky that game could be, isn't it? As stewards can punish you big time with if you're facing the wrong direction for too long and things like that, which probably could have been what it was, right? There's your results. If you'd like to go through them for us, please, Scruffy, for our qualifying.
Absolutely. So, in first position, you have Will Castle, followed by AC Lapalainen, 0.107 seconds behind. AJ Jackson in third, Peter Lockett in fourth, Lenny Cook running out the top five, followed by Thomas Hardwick, Joshua Bashford, Noah De Corpe, Jasper Ten Hacken, and Luke Temperdinker running out the top 10. 11th is Ricardo Gabatti, 12th is Neil Scheffner, and 13th is Luke Franklin. Will be interesting to see if that qualifying sticks, but that is how it is on the board right now.
Excellent. We will go to the drive. Try to see if we can get one of the drivers. We don't know who's going to be on pole just as yet. If it will either be Luke or Will, but we'll see if we can get a chat to one of those drivers, or maybe AJ Jackson got the Red Bull on P3 before we go to our break. At the moment, just showing the calendar, of course. We are in round 3 here in Hungary. We've got Portugal coming up soon, which you like that track, of course. That'll be next month.
Absolutely.
The roller coaster ride of Portugal. And then a couple of week break, I think that is, and then off to the Americas. And then back to...
Looks like Luke Franklin is, in fact, starting from the back of the grid.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's where he placed in the end of the quali.
Yeah.
Like, if the game screws up, I guess you could appeal that with the stewards, but... Like, that's how it is, it seems. But we will wait to see on that one, because obviously we are recreating the lobby for this one, I believe.
Yes, we will. Let's just see if anybody interviews. Just going to ask everybody in the channel. That is the Discord channel. All the information is available there. If you're looking it up on the SwiftX, if you want to be a part of the exciting series and motor racing that we have here, the only way to do it is be joining the Discord there and put your hand up and say, hey, I would like to become a race driver for Swift. Submit your times.
Oh, I just wait for the timer to run out so I can actually quit the game.
Same here as well. They don't want you to quit, Scruffy. You're stuck in the game
This is how they get the
forever.
player hours.
Sorry?
Yeah, this is how they get the player hours.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. Just checking to see if we're going to get an interview from anybody at the moment. Which I don't think is going to happen. It doesn't look like. I think they're probably discussing a couple of things. I think they may be
Actually, the
discussing
qualifying position.
the rules
Yeah.
about that. So we'll let them sort that out, and we'll take a bit of a breather, I think, Scruffy, and we'll get back for our motor racing.
Yep.
So don't go anywhere.
Hello and welcome to the first SwiftX game for our race weekend. Today we're going to be doing a tier list for the constructors.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Lay beats, this go crazy.
I hate you, drama.
Hello everyone, welcome to the race today here at the SwiftX NordVPN Hungarian Grand Prix. Here at the beautiful track in Budapest. It is a very, very important track in terms of downforce, with a lot of interesting corners and certainly a lot more interesting overtaking opportunities in the Hungaroring. It is a 4.38 kilometer track with 14 turns. Only one DRS zone at the start and then one very short after, because there is a lot of corners and there is not many opportunities to really push the car in a straight line. It's currently the third shortest F1 circuit on the calendar. It's the second slowest after Monaco, which we do not talk about. During an average lap, the car will only spend about 44 of its time in front. When it returned in '86, it was actually the first event to be held behind the Iron Curtain, and the purpose of the track was constructed outside of the city, which was just there. Very fast videos. Gotta love them.
We do. Welcome,
As we wait for the
Scruffy.
loading.
Good job there
Yep.
getting through that, of course, for the Hungary. We've had our qualifying session open, and it's bucketing. Is it bucketing?
Woohoo!
I'm not quite sure.
Yes,
if it's...
it is. You've got particles turned off, I think, but it is
I
bucketing.
do. I thought I had it turned on, actually. That's quite surprising.
If you look at my screen...
I can't see your screen at the moment, but I'll tell you what I can do,
Oh,
of
I meant
course,
the
is
IP.
I can bring up the very graphic for that. And it hasn't loaded into the session properly yet, so it hasn't updated it, but we'll update that.
This is where we just get into the session. It's sunny.
Yeah, it could be. I don't think so, but yeah, it's.
Bring
I
it
thought,
up the tab window.
sorry,
Yeah.
this is weird
Just
because
waiting.
I haven't got the telemetry loaded in yet because the session isn't. But generally, that's a representation, I believe, that
Oh,
it will be. Well, we were talking about this, didn't we, earlier? Scruffy, you and myself, of course, that's your commentating team bringing the third race here for NordVPN SwiftX Series 2 Round 3. But we were talking about how it generally does rain a lot in Hungary, doesn't it, my friend?
absolutely. And you can tell it's raining on yours because of the puddles.
That's true. You could just see those puddles. Yeah, that's the game indication too, I think, isn't it? The switch from your inters to your wets is when you can
Yes.
see puddles.
Or at least that's what I always work off, and it's never failed me. You've definitely got RTX reflections on, though.
I have it. Yeah, I've messed up this multiple times of multiple things. I have a good graphics card, but I get blurriness. I've turned things on, I turn things off.
So
I've
that's
had-
DLSS.
yeah, which is
I found this out. That
okay.
is 100% what it is.
so I turn that off in the future.
I turned DLSS off, and you stop getting that ghosting on the back of the
okay.
wheels.
And then what's happening right now with these this rain? Well, we don't know. We're waiting for the players, of course, but we are live on the stream. Just wondering why.
I think it may be the same thing.
Yeah, just had to go away for that a second because I was looking at that. Anyway, we don't know.
As we
We're still
wait.
waiting for everybody to load in the session. Welcome along, of course. So let's go over the driver standings real quick there while we wait. I presume at the moment for our
see if we can
formation
find out
lap.
what's going on.
Still, we will be able to find out. Did you get any information about whether or not Will's time or Luke's time
Not as
was
of
returned? We haven't heard that because that was the qualifying performance. So we will have a Mercedes at least on pole. We just don't know 100% which one. There are your drivers standing, so we went over that before. E2 lap aligning at the moment, who did qualify in maybe second or third. We're not 100% sure on that one. Will Castle.
Oh, there we go. We've got a timer.
We do. So let's go back down, of course, to the track side. This is going to count itself in, which will give us the indication immediately as to what weather conditions will be. Of course, the casting crew is the Australian and the Brit. The Scruffy and myself, the Biggles, and then we're going to get that that icon should come up in a second too, Scruffy. There's our temperature icon that we have here at SwiftX. That will tell us what that conditions will be like. And it looks to be raining.
Here we go then. The formation lap is underway.
I don't understand.
Wet conditions here today.
It's definitely raining. I can tell you for a fact that it is 100% heavy rain.
Yeah, they're on Inters wets and Inters. Yeah, that telemetry hasn't updated.
Inters is a questionable choice, given the amount of rain that I can see. Now, some people must know something that we don't.
Yeah, my telemetry is, I don't know about yours, but my telemetry at the moment is very, very reliable for the weather. It only shows an overcast. It doesn't even show wet.
Yeah, mine's got the same problem.
It says light cloud, no rain expected. That's weird. Well, we'll see, but we can clearly see it's wet. And you said Inters is a big question. We can't change anything at the moment while we're on our formation lap graphics, but we'll get that to you in just a minute. Scruffy, I think it'll be time for our new picture-in-picture. What do you think? This is a new feature that we're going to have here at SwiftX.
Absolutely, give me 1 second.
And Scruffy will be able to be on board with one of the drivers, probably in the midfield, I'd say you go, and then we'll see how it pans out. I'll keep an eye on the start, the front. Digital motorsports.
Yeah, once I can actually change.
Can't change anything just yet, mate. Now we can.
There we go.
Let's go.
Wait for those lights to go out. That's 4 lights, 5 red lights. And we are away for the Grand Prix. We are currently waiting to see if everyone can get through the first corner on their own. Drivers coming down to the first corner. Very wide movement, a lot at the back of the grid. You've got 3 wide at the front with the Mercedes going through the corner. That's 3 wide in the mid group. They're getting very, very, very close to each other. And that's a Ferrari round at the back. And there is debris and a massive pile up. And oh my word, everything's going wrong.
Oh, it's only a virtual safety car. So Will's way
How
up the road.
How is that a virtual safety car?
Happened last time.
What on earth? There are cars literally everywhere, and they class that as a virtual safety car.
Well, the temperature gauge has actually been updated, so it's a little bit delayed, but here it is currently at the moment. You can see wet, wet, wet. So there it is.
Rain, rain, rain.
Rain, 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 yeah.
That is, my word, that was possibly one of the weirdest intros to a race, but that was a lot of carnage. I don't even know who instigated any of that.
Yeah, seeing a couple of drivers changing positions. I think we're green flag conditions again. We certainly are green flag conditions again. Here we go.
Whoa! As I'm going to jump to the mid group again, just going to sit on board if I can. No, I can't because I have to show the UI to do so. Which makes no sense. As we currently got the Williams of, and I'm trying to figure out this is Jasper 10.
I think, no, AJ's made a mistake.
It was Jasper 10 Hacker making a move on the Aston Martin of A2 Lapalainen, who's currently just behind in the absolute haze of rain.
These are
the only slight downside
right now, for sure. Wheels up, way gone down the road, mate. He's tuned that car perfect for Hungarian weather.
I think it's more the tyres.
Oh yeah, you're right. I think it's the Inters.
A2's on the Inters. But I am going to do a quick switch back to Will Castoff in the lead. Just to give it a little on board of the leader.
Yeah, there you go. Pictures, of course. Digital motorsports. It would be a little bit latency every once in a while, but we're doing the best that we have. And you can see the pictures there. That Will's way off into the road. Yeah, it's lagging a little bit more than what it is, I guess, because there's all those rain droplets and all the extra particles.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
AJ's in the fence! Oh, no!
Whoa!
That's, well, you don't know if that's going to bring out... Where is he currently at the moment? That is, out of turn 4. On the wet tyres, too. No front wing. We'll give you the graphics, of course, so we're going to bring up that as well. And that's our fantastic eShop Nordic. And at the moment, you can see red front wing there for the Red Bull. Red Bull doesn't give him any wings, unfortunately. Back to the picture-in-picture actions. Niels at the moment's really tucked up behind E2 Lapalina, who's tucked up behind Luke. And that's a battle for three-way battle for P5. Wow.
There goes the Williams down the right-hand side. Not quite going to make that stick. Going to lock right in behind the Alfa Romeo, which still has one of the best paint jobs of any car on a grid.
You said that before. You're loving that one, exactly. Virtual safety car's been deployed, but so at the moment they're going to have to stick to that Delta. Joshua Bashford goes in, maybe probably for some damage to repair, but I just want to keep on this because when they get the green flag conditions, it's all go for that P5. Is that because you think E2 Lapalina is struggling on those inters?
I think there might be, but then again, it completely depends. And there goes the Williams right down the inside, sending it. We are back at the green flag, but the Alpha's still there. Moving for position right now, heading down towards the corner here. It's not the easiest corner to make a move, and certainly not in the wet. Personally, I think this battle's going to go right. Oh, A2 getting a massive snap of oversteer on the corner there, just trying to keep the car in shape. The problem is they are on way less grippy tyres. That's not a place you want to be sending the car, and the Williams there, but there's A2 wide, and that's the front right of the wing off of the Alpha.
Yeah, he just couldn't get it stuck around the corner. And those wet weather tyre drivers are just driving on by. Let's have a look at his damage. No, he's definitely got damage. Actually, no, he's got no damage. E2 has no damage.
No, E2 doesn't.
No.
The Alpha does. It's got
That's
no
Niels.
front left end plate. Front right, yeah. Niels has no front right end plate, but still overtook A2 Lapalainen.
Yeah, it's 25% damage, actually. It's not too bad, according to our eShop Nordic graphic. So that's manageable in these conditions, right? If it was a full dry race, you'd probably be struggling, but you'd have to stay out right now and see how those weather conditions change. Speaking of which, weather conditions. Our forecast is showing the forecast for what's coming up. And the forecast of what's coming up is that the rain's going to be lightning. It's lighter, I mean, not lightning, of course, but lighter rain. So, inters are going to come into play soon, for sure.
At least we'd like to hope, which will certainly turn the whole grid around. You're currently on board with Neil Scheffner because a lot of the drivers have fallen quite far apart in terms of the standings. I will jump up in the interior to Thomas Hardwick, though, because he's slowly catching up with Peter Lucca in front.
Of course, that's our grid finder. That for our driver's name on the right-hand side, you can see Niels is in the 15 car, the German driver in the Alfa Romeo. And if you want to find drivers like Niels and like Will and like Peter and Thomas and everybody else, I bet you they're probably out there in Grid Finder, right there, Scruffy. Even yourself there, and casting crews and production crews are probably on Grid Finder.
Absolutely, it's one of those sites that's just super useful to be able to use, to be honest.
Now there's a huge spread. This is we've used to so much wheel-to-wheel action, aren't we, for the first couple of races so far at the SwiftX Series 2. And because the rain's come into play, everybody's kind of kicked it back a little bit now after that first sprint shootout at the start, and kind of just, all right, I think we take it easy. There's a gap between everybody. AJ's out, Korsgaard's out, unfortunately. Those two drivers, they were on the wet tyres when they started too, so it wasn't as gingerly as what some of the Inter tyres are, but let's keep an eye out as Will's going quicker. I'm actually curious to see what E2's times would be, because I'm telling you, with that weather forecast, it's now lighter rain. As soon as those puddles start disappearing off the track, those inters are going to come and play, aren't they?
Absolutely, and I mean they'll probably want to keep pushing this as far as they can, basically, and that's Niels Scheffner coming in for, I assume, front lane change.
Yeah, have to be, because we knew he had some damage, 25%. Now, will he go to inters? I'd say you'd have to, wouldn't you? You've got to. Let's have a look.
Well, I'm about to find out as we're going into the pit box.
Yeah, you keep an eye on that. I'll keep an eye on the other action. I forgot we had picture-in-picture windows.
Wets, I believe.
Really?
Inters, no, it
Inters.
was showing a much heavier tread on the tyre than...
I thought that would be a bad gamble to try that one. Anyway, we're leading.
Yeah, the track is drying.
Now, we have got confirmation, obviously, because we've been so crazy trying to find out all these weather conditions. But what happened between Will and Luke? Well, Luke obviously is down in P11, so he did have to start from the back of the field. So he did get that disqualification during the qualifying, which he did have the fastest lap, but that's all been null and void by the stewards, and therefore they said, I am correct on that one, right? Because Will did start in P14, yes. So just double confirming that one. But he's in P11.
Luke Franklin starts in P14.
Yeah. Will leading.
Obviously with a couple of DNFs.
Yes, exactly. But so far, so good, you would have to say, for most of the drivers in those tippy-toe tricky conditions. Wheels going quicker, which indicates to me, my friend, that the track is definitely not ready for inter-territory just yet.
I wouldn't say quite yet, considering the amount of rain that's still falling. It's definitely drying up. But the point right now is there's still a lot of standing water, but you can definitely see a line forming.
I want to see the punishment from eShop Nordic, as in the tyres. How much punishing is it? These tyres are so durable, all right? I mean, look at that. I think they're 14% or so. I'm just trying to look at the graphic.
Yeah,
It's
14, you can
15.
go an entire race
Yeah.
on the wets.
That's true, you can. I've actually seen that before, believe it or not. Yeah, that's right, in a couple of series. Doesn't happen very often, but it is possible. I've seen it on Inters too. I've seen somebody do a whole race on Inters. I don't know if you want to risk it for the biscuit on that, but then again, not 2022. Back to our live picture-in-picture. Actually, in the chat, there's been very, very quiet, Scruffy. I wonder if they're not happy with our new graphics here at SwiftX. Do they not like it? I mean, I thought that was quite cool. We get to catch the different angles of all the action.
Oh, it's excellent. I mean, we can show right back here. So I'm currently on Luke Franklin, who is very, very swiftly catching Noah Ilakorpi further up the track, because I think they're being slowed down a little bit by Neil Scheffler. But I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's not what you can do if you're stuck behind a car. You've just got to go. And Ilakorpi is catching up very quickly because Scheffler's gone very, very wide.
Yeah.
It's going to be a nice little throw down the inside. They're still side by side using all their track. Wow.
Yeah, meanwhile, Will's going in as well. Oh, power slide there from Niels.
Just tipped the curb.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Look at Ricardo coming in at 100 miles an hour. The
Franklin.
wet tires. He could just break. Look at how confident the Red Bull is. Could just break a lot later into the corner, right? Look at that. I'm gonna helicopter cab, but you could just see that the wets are still the tire to be on currently at the moment. We did have a pit stop there from Will. Will's elected to go to the Inters, so that's interesting. He's come back out just behind. If you want to keep an eye on one of those battles at the time, we'll see which one, because there's two of them forming on the track right now.
Yep. I'm currently with the Red Bull because just how close they are. I am keeping an eye on Will's time to the car in front.
Yeah, I'll go external to that one, because I want to see if Will can get these tyres up to temperature really quickly, and can he get past? That'll be interesting.
I think there is a lot of time from Riccardo Gabetti to Neil Scheffler, because look at the speed he's got out the final corner. Huge amount of speed out the final corner. They're still side by side, though. Can't quite make it stick. But those Inters just cannot hold on. That's the thing. He's still coming back. He's just clipped the rear wheel, unfortunately, which does unfortunately slow him down.
Yeah, there you go.
That's him through. So I'm going to switch now back to Will Casson because he's getting closer.
Yeah, but this is the thing. It's also about how the drivers are handling those tyres. Because to me, it looks like actually Noah's gone around. I'll go back to that one. The Ferrari is into the fence. Is there damage? There certainly is. And that's our graphic that we can bring up as well to our eShop Nordic, which is you've been naughty if you've got some damage on your car. There it is. The Ferrari's going to have to go back. And what's happened to Will? Will's gone past because they're going to the pit road. That's it.
Exactly. You got
Yes,
into the pit road. So Will has jumped back up into third. And now the question is, he's on the Inters now, which, as has been shown, is not necessarily the fastest tyre.
No, but you got to go on it.
However, if Will's gone for it,
the conditions drying up, my friend. Look at that. I'll show you the temperature graphic, of course. And look at this. Look at this. The temperature graphic is down the bottom's in 5-minute segments. So it is saying in 5 minutes time still raining, and 10 minutes time still raining, but in 15 minutes time it's saying no rain. It is dynamic weather. It can change. It's not set, just like the real weather. You can't plan exactly if it's going to stop or go in 15 minutes. But we'll keep an eye on that fantastic graphic that we had here at SwiftX to maybe see how it's all going to pan out. But I don't know, Scruffy. At 8 of 35 lap that we're on, I'd say we're probably in for some dry racing.
absolutely. And it'll be a question of if the drivers are all on Inters or wets by then, and I doubt they'll be on wets at that point because of how much it should dry. The Inters will take them to a point, but then, of course, it's a question of when do you go for the next tyre? And I mean, if the rain comes in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, that's fairly soon when you think about it. That's easily only what?
Peter's in. Yep, keep going.
Yeah, Peter's into the pit, so I assume maybe changing tyres. But the point is they've got to decide when that crossover is. And it's not the easiest to decide the crossover.
No.
You really have to
Not at
take
all.
a gamble. Like, the first cars in, changing to the faster tyres will get a massive advantage on their out laps.
And also, you got to come into play if there's a safety car, if there's a virtual safety car, and you have to come into play of the unfortunate stop-go penalties. And Lenny Cook has got a 5-second one next to his name. The only one so far, penalties, because you're not going to get a lot of off-track excursions, especially when it's raining around here in Hungary, are you, mate? Because if you are venturing off-track in these conditions, you're venturing into the fence, or you're going around the wrong direction.
No, absolutely. O2 Lapalainen's coming back at Peter Lucker. It's currently the closest battle on the circuit right now.
Thank you out there, Searle, saying looks great. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
for that.
Searle.
Yeah. I'm going to keep we get to keep that picture up a lot, actually. Because
it's
a lot of
useful to
action.
have.
Yeah. But Ricardo's got ready. Ooh, that's twirly whirly coming out, showing your
Really shows
his rear end of the Aston Martin right there. Wiggle, wiggle.
It shows just how much of a kick that was as well from the onboard cam, because the exterior cam looks like a big kick, but then you look at the onboard and it's just bang.
That's true.
Massive,
isn't it?
great snap.
Yeah.
Just keep an eye out, because this is
Thomas
slowly
still-
getting.
Yeah, Thomas is boxing. He has to get rid of those tyres now, so that it'll put Will back into the lead of this race. Now,
We'll see what
position
Thomas is gonna
gainers and
switch to.
losers. I'll show you that one real quick there, because everybody's going to be on the into tyres practically soon. There it is. 5 positions gains for Thomas, but he's going to drop that. Will be in the
Thomas
lead.
the
of
Inters.
Jasper Ten Hacken, you have to say. Amazing. So from 9th place up into P3, gaining 6 positions. 17 seconds and change down the road, but impressive. Very impressive. Luke Franklin, of course, we know has the pace around here, gaining 6 positions. Yeah. Jasper's gained 7 now. So our championship leader in without a racing line is loving these conditions.
And Thomas just came into the pits, I believe, and got onto Inters. Everyone on the track now on Inters. No one on the wets.
No, I think you can see the puddles aren't really there anymore, are they?
They're gone.
Yeah.
And that's the best indicator. If you don't have weather tools, if you can't tell what the game's thinking with regards to the weather, watch the standing water on the circuit, because that is generally a great indicator of how wet the circuit is. And also how much rain is currently falling. Like right now, it's very much in the crossover. It's not full wet, but it's not Inters. Like, that's the thing. So they're still going to be really trying hard not to snap the back end of the car out.
Yeah, the track's getting faster because Will set the fastest middle sector. The fastest first sector goes to Luke Binkley in P7.
I don't know.
Joshua's just replaced that one in the McLaren. But so the track is definitely getting quicker and quicker and quicker. Now we'll just set the fastest lap. Expect that to see that. You're going to see purples all over the place as they're going to keep replacing it as the track will get quicker and quicker. And the crossover to dries will be approaching. We're 1/3 through the race at the moment.
Which is not too long through at all, but we have the overspeeder Peter Locker on the Williams in front. He's quite considerable, because he's just caught up and he's now within easily a couple of car lengths. And the question is, can he make it stick into the next couple of corners? They're currently running slightly off the line just to get out of the dirty air a tiny bit, but you want the slipstream on these straights at this point.
Yeah, I wonder how Jasper's going to handle it without the racing line. Now, I don't know if you gamble without the racing line in the wet conditions, and the dry conditions is obviously very difficult, but it seems it might be a little bit more manageable in the wet conditions, right? Because you're braking earlier and you're accelerating later.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially if you even run slight bits of traction control as well in the wet, it helps. But the thing with the wet is you can see the line as it is.
Oh, that's
You don't
true.
actually need a racing line.
Yeah, you're right.
Because you can see where the dry line is, so you kind of got to stick to that all year round.
I never thought about that before in the past, and now you learn something new every day.
But it's like, well, that would be my logic, is use the dry line, because obviously as the track dries, then it's going to get a lot harder, but you've known by learning from that wet line where the basic line is. Because you're still going to take that in the wet.
You're exactly right, Scruffy. That's the thing. As those times are going to start tumbling too for now. Will's got a fantastic gap at the moment. He's about 13 seconds and change, so looking to run away with this one if he can keep it pointing in the right direction. Also, timing his pit stops crucially, because, and there's the weather forecast. I'm going to bring it up, of course, because we have all those fantastic goodies here at SwiftX. And there it is. So your forecast now, Scruffy, that's
Wow.
getting close to 5 to 10 minutes. before it's going to get dry. Now, remember, the track's not going to just magically just dry like everybody's got the leaf blowers out there drying it, but it will take a couple of laps. But that'll be the interesting thing of who gambles, right? Like, do you afford to take a lap perhaps when it's still a little bit damp there and lose a bit of time knowing that, hey, in the next lap you're going to be quick?
Yeah, exactly. It's a big way up, and apparently Luke did get the DSQ in qualifying because of a glitch.
Yeah, thank you very much for that.
Intentional.
I am Opay. Welcome along. Hope you're enjoying yourself watching the race as much as we are. It's cooled down. It's cooled down. Track temperature is obviously very cool, and but the rain is starting to ease off a little bit. You start to see those gaps forming. The gaps forming and the gaps also closing. You got the battle between P2 and P3. You got the battle between E2 and Thomas and P4, P5. Luke and Lenny Cook might be very close to their battle brewing up very soon. Lenny Cook, unfortunately, has a 5-second stop-go penalty. He'll have to serve that at some point before the end of the race. And that's pretty much it, right, Scruffy, if you want a recap of the race so far?
Exactly. Currently, it's just sort of everyone's a bit further apart. There's only a couple of drivers within sort of a second of each other. But the sky is lighting up. The track is certainly drying.
Yeah, you keep an eye on that AlphaTauri, and I'll keep an eye on the other AlphaTauri because there's two of them in the battle. So you're on board in the picture-in-picture there of Peter's. I believe you're on Peter, right? Yep, you can see Peter right, tucked up in the gearbox there of Jasper. And Thomas is tucked up in the gearbox of E2. So that's how that spot pans out. And they're both very, very close. If it looks like there's a move coming from Peter, mate, you might have to tell me to switch over so I can have the external camera on that.
Currently still stuck behind, and a big snap of oversteer unfortunately puts them a little bit further back, but then again they are going around the corners. Whoa, massive snap again going around the corners here, and I'm not entirely sure if they keep going off the line slightly.
Now, as a driver, you probably wouldn't have the graphics up as high like this, right? Because you can see all those raindrops will be blocking your vision when it comes to braking points.
I turned it off when I drove.
Yeah, that's what most drivers do, of course. But for us and for the spectating view, I just think about real F1 drivers and how much your visor would just be covered with spray. Although it would be beading off, it wouldn't be sticking to the visor like that. It beads off at the high speeds, as you know. If you put a bit of Rain-X or any of those products you buff into your windscreen, the water just doesn't stick there. Not at the speeds that they're doing. Which top speed so far is Niels, believe it or not, almost 300 kilometers an hour, 299 kilometers an hour for Niels, and he's currently running a P10.
And Peter's getting very, very close to the back of Jasper Ten Haken. Shouldn't be too long before we potentially see a move on the Williams.
I'll show you something really cool.
They're getting closer and closer.
We're going to do it SwiftX, my friend. I'm on the rear view looking over the rear wing of Jasper Ten Haken, and you're looking at Jasper Ten Haken's T-Cam. So, and we saw the power slide right there as well, too. So
do it again, I think. The question is, are they going to hold it together through this section again? Because it's touching those curbs. It's those curbs. They want to stay off the curbs. Don't run too wide because it kicks the back end of the car out. That's why you can see they're running slightly wide, so they're actually running on the concrete, not on the curbs.
And as the track starts to dry out, which it is, the car becomes a little bit more of a beast. I'll tell you what, but the Jasper just looks like a completely driving this thing on rails right now. It doesn't even have a wiggle moment whatsoever, whereas Peter is struggling. But still keeping there, but if anything, it's going to bring E2 into play, because E2's now got 1.4 seconds. Just down the road, you can just see the Aston Martin.
And the thing is as well, behind AT Lapalines, you've got Thomas Hardwick, who's not far behind at all. So it could potentially bring in a four-way battle.
But and Thomas is probably about to set the fastest lap, or E2 will set it, then Thomas will replace it, I believe. And, well, how close are they? For a double stack, they might have to just all switch over really quickly, because there is your temperature, and that rain's stopped. That rain has stopped. We're just waiting for the track to dry.
The rain has officially stopped as well, because you can see it's not beating off the halo anymore.
And our telemetry software, of course, is showing just clouds, no rain. So here it is. Who's going to gamble now? When would you gamble? You're a race driver, Scruffy. When do you go, you know what? Say, for example, if you're further back, like Joshua, Luke Franklin, for example, he's got, he's quick, but take a gamble, try an undercut, put the soft tires on there, all of a sudden you find you're sitting purples over everybody else.
I think the soft right now is probably not the right idea. Purely because if you look on the onboard shots, you can actually still see the water being kicked out of the way by the inters. Those lines on the road.
Yes, okay.
So I think it's probably that the softs would probably not give you enough grip at all. Obviously, it doesn't really matter between the mediums and the hards because both of them would technically give you less grip.
What if you're like Noah in the Ferrari? When you got it to lose, you're running last place at the moment.
Absolutely, that's yeah.
I'd say you usually see those drivers, don't you? Take a gamble at the back end of the race.
I mean, normally this would be about the pit stop radius. We actually be past the pit window, but I mean, it does seem to be still slightly raining, based on the fact that there's still water on the camera.
Now, if somebody goes off and there's a safety car and you just jumped into the pit lane and got some, let's say, for example, Noah says, oh, I'll take a gamble. I'll jump in, I'll put some softs on, right? He's got to tippy-toe around, and then all of a sudden, we've seen this before multiple times, haven't we, in leagues over the years?
Yeah.
Safety car gets deployed, bang, you don't have to go on the pit lane. He's straight past everybody. He's a few seconds and change down the road, no doubt, but you never know what happens in motor racing. Peter's going quicker. The track is still getting quicker and quicker naturally as they're dispersing all that water.
Exactly, and they're still sticking right on the back end of the cars in front because everyone's still on the same tyres.
And we're not even halfway
taking that opportunity
through the race there, Scruffy. Just on halfway.
Exactly, and a lot of these cars, though, Peter Locker in particular, have gone wide at that last sector point. And you've got to be careful with that because the game doesn't necessarily care if you gain or lose time. It just cares if you're wide or not, sometimes. Lucas is setting a faster lap. It'd be interesting to see if anyone else sets a faster lap.
Yeah, they are. They're still setting quick laps, and that's the thing, isn't it? That's what I mean when you get a crossover point soon. If you're dropping times like a Bitcoin exchange, then gotta be thinking it might be just enough to go to softs. I'm just wanting to see if anybody in the chat would like to suggest if you were to be a race driver, would you elect to be going to softs out there? Take a gamble. Let us know. We haven't seen much overtaking around this track in these tricky conditions. Of course, no DRS is enabled. However, it's always been a notorious track to overtake, hasn't it? I mean, it's kind of like, as I say, it's Monaco without the barriers, isn't it?
Pretty much, and even with the grass runoff, you effectively go off into the barriers at the same speed.
And we saw a couple of spins, but only a couple. AJ and Korsgaard are out. There was a few other spins, but a little bit of front wing damage. A couple of drivers had been at the pit road. Showing you the graphics right now. Well, we will show you the pit stops at the moment. You can see there 2 stops from Joshua, 2 stops from Ricardo. Believe it or not, E2 lap alone and Lenny Cook have yet to box. So they're still running on those tires. Now, I'm going to show you the tire graphic, actually, to see how difficult that would be for E2 Lapalina, because 16 laps on those inters, and there you go, currently at the moment. Well, that's probably not too bad, Scruffy. 43% left rear.
Not awful.
Yeah. Lenny Cook, let's see how Lenny's handled his tires. About the same. All right, but Lenny has to serve a stop-go. And there's the pit stop window from AWS.
The pit window, as I said, somewhere around 16 laps. So they've got a couple longer, obviously, due to the wet weather. But now is the question of who will be the first person to jump the gun or pull the trigger, one of the two, when they come into the pit lane. And I've just seen Joshua Bashford drop into the pits.
You have? Yeah, here we go. So Joshua's done it first. He's taking
Who
the
are they going to go with? Mediums.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? Because do you think that the soft tires are just too... I mean, these conditions, mediums are probably the way to go to. We'll find out anyway. This will be interesting. Because all the teams right now, if you're lucky to have an engineer, of course, will be wondering what times is Joshua going to set. Now, I don't expect you to set a crazy... Yeah, look at that little spin coming out. Almost a spin. He's going to take it easy. You'll take it easy, get temperature to your tires, wouldn't you there, Scruffy, for this outlap?
Oh, yeah.
And then start to feel the track as it evolves into the car.
The thing with these tyres is they are not going to be comfortable to drive on at all, especially if you go even slightly off the line.
Yeah,
He's
if you don't
definitely
mind,
not putting down full
you keep an
power.
eye on him for a little bit. Actually, no, let's go up to Thomas. Let's go up to Thomas because he's battling with E2, and I'll keep an eye on E2's rear. I'll look at your rear wing there, E2, not your rear. And then, so Luke, the other Luke's gone in to box. So we still don't know. We haven't got a decent time yet from Joshua because he's on an outlap, essentially on an outlap.
Luke is going to the mediums.
Yep. We think that would be the tire of choice, wouldn't it? Considering the
Luke Franklin's in. That is going to be switching to the... I can't see the interior, so that's... Mediums, yeah. There's an occasional bug where you don't see the inside rim of the tyres.
Oh, I just look at the telemetry and I don't trust all the graphics that are on screen, unfortunately, in
That
this
who?
game.
Oh, no!
What happened? Who?
Will Casson, 3-second time penalty.
Oh, yeah, you just saw that, actually. Because he's pushing. He should be getting close to the fast lap. Oh, and Thomas getting
And
one slapped.
Hardwick.
Now you know the track's quick, my friend, when you're exploring track limits like that.
Yeah, 100%. And the track's basically pushing on dry now, especially if you're
And
still
Will's
running
in.
the inters.
You can see the pit lane is dry as a bone. Look at that. The track is almost dry as a bone.
Everyone's coming in.
Yeah, Jasper's coming in as well. Is it the case of the follow the leader, like as we see before in motor racing?
I'll jump
Whatever
onto
the
the Alpha
leader-
Tauri.
Yeah, whatever the leader does. And yeah, I see the gamble that's paid off from the drivers. Well, Luke, yeah, boxed in P7. He's got quite a bit of a zone to cover. Safety
Everyone's
car's
switching
being
to medium.
deployed.
Whoa!
That's
who's
Niels.
round?
Niels is out somewhere.
Hang on, let me switch to
Yeah, there he is.
in the wall.
He's parked right there, and that means so this is who's gonna come into play? Almost every. I don't even know how to calculate this one, my friend. Right now, what happens?
I mean, Will should really take his. I mean, you can remove penalties in the pit lane.
Not 3 seconds, but no.
5, I think you can.
Lenny has to. Yeah, Lenny had the 5 second, and he has removed it. So Lenny Cook's back out, and P6 he'll be able to slice that 12 seconds back down to 0. No one's got to come in a pit lane right now because still the only driver on the intermediate tires, and
Yeah, he needs to get those tyres off.
he's just a little bit further down the road. I'm sure they'll be calling him in for the Ferrari team. Yeah, he goes in now, which means Ricardo will be able to get that place back from him. So how's that switch to route everything? Not so much, really, you'd have to say, isn't it? This is why I was kind of saying to you, but it's almost like we scripted this one, isn't it? As a story, we said, well, what happens if you box a little bit earlier and then the safety car comes out? Which it did.
Absolutely, for Will, this is the worst possible thing that could have happened
Yeah, that gap is all gone
because of
now.
that penalty.
And the penalty, yeah, on top of it.
Which means right now he's a good 5th place, 4th place.
And on top of it, he has last season's world champion on his tailpipe. And even though Jasper Ten Hag has been struggling without the racing line, well, he did fantastic job in the wet. But the only problem you have to say for Jasper now is that he's going to come back into that there is no wet to dry racing line that was formed, isn't it? With the rain. He's going to have to rely purely on his mental racing line skills again. Non-racing
Absolutely,
line
and that is
skills.
the main thing. The question is, how's the grid doing in terms of how far they are apart?
Well, Joshua's gone back in again? Or was this a gamble for softs?
This is a gamble for the softs, yeah.
I'd say so. He's got a 21-second gap to Ricardo, so he should be in and out. Yeah, it's softs.
Yeah.
What a gamble. Why not? No, it's
Wait, is
mediums
that-
again. Whoa.
What?
That's another fresh set of
Did he
mediums.
accidentally put on you can't have put on used mediums.
It did say 3 laps on the mediums that he had. That's interesting. We don't really see how many laps they put on the medium had on the
He
mediums
may have,
before.
of course, done that to try and get a bit of extra lap time out of them because they've only got what? 14 laps?
Yeah, I would have thought you could probably maybe do it on the softs because...
Softs, I think, is 9.
Yeah, and a couple more laps on the safety car as they're still going to bunch up.
The thing is, if they were under the safety car up until about lap 25, let's hope we're not under the safety car until lap 25. But if we're under the safety car at lap 25 or 26, people would be smart to pit for the softs. Because that is at the point where you crossed over into these softs can get to the end of the race if you know how to hold them.
And you got to remember, yeah, the track temperature is actually quite cooler, so it's not going to be as stinking hot that it was before to burn through them. You can see the track temperature currently. The sun's going to start peeking out of the clouds soon, but the track temperature is at, 33 Celsius and 91 Fahrenheit, which is quite cool. So it won't be as punishing on those if you were to go soft tires, right? I mean, I don't know if it was worth a gamble or not.
I think it depends on when they go for it. I mean, the only time I'd say it's reasonable to go for it is lap 25 onwards. Because you don't have to pit again.
No, absolutely not. Not when they're going to be pretty well. They're going to be bunched up right now, of course.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get to lap 25.
Now, to give everybody an indication, Will has a 3-second penalty. I won't show you that next to the name because it is 3 seconds. It's a 3-second penalty for Thomas. That's it. But what's more importantly is who is on the bubble of their 3-second penalty as well. Luke is. He's got 2 warnings. Both the Lukes. So Luke in P7, Luke in P8. Joshua in P9 does have a 2-second warning. And everybody else either has 1 or 0. So that is something that they're going to be very careful of. As you know, my friend, you get that 3-second club is punishing late into a race when you're bunched up like this.
Exactly. We're going to jump back to the mid-pack on this cinematic cam.
You know what we haven't mentioned it recently, but I like mentioning it? How damn quick the NordVPN service is.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I used it the other day because I would watch BattleBots. I'm a bit of a BattleBots fan, right? Because I like engineering. Safety cars in this lap. I like how they engineer these machines to destroy each other with just sheer amount. I mean, it used to be Robot Wars in the UK. But I had to use a VPN. I have to use my VPN. I use my NordVPN to watch it on Amazon with the Discovery service. So there it is. So I switched over to the US and got to watch that, but get to see some fantastic green flag racing right now in dry conditions with Will currently in the lead over Jasper Ten Haken. Green flag should be in about a second.
Exactly. We're getting ready to go racing. Will Caston's still there, and I think he's gone. He's 100% gone. I'm currently on the Williams. The Mercedes behind of Luke Franklin getting very, very close. Not quite close enough. He might be able to send it around the outside. Not quite. And I'm going to have to quickly switch back to the onboard as you're going to have some very, very close battles. That is the Aston Martin going through on the Alpha Tower. I believe Lenny Cook overtaking Thomas Hardwick.
Yep, he did.
And I will jump forward to that because that is very, very close. No one giving an inch at all on these moves. Here, there's the Alpha Tauri right up the back end of Lenny Cook's Aston Martin. He's getting very, very close. It's always concerning when they break that late. They go round into this S's style section. It's just a main question of who has the biggest guts to just send it into corners, really. Because the track is basically dry.
We haven't had a DRS enabled yet, have we?
Ooh, what a block! Ooh. What a block, and I'll give that. That was a great defensive move. The Alpha Tauri was not expecting it.
It's Lenny side by
simultaneously
side with Thomas, yeah.
Off, bumping wheels. Fair play. Rubbing is, of course, racing. But this is an insane battle between the Aston Martin and the Alpha Tauri. The Alpha Tauri's come out on top on that one, I think. But that being said, the Aston Martin has therefore dropped back, and you've got the Williams of Luke Ten Brinker coming back up on the Aston because of the fact it's slowed down so much. But again, they've caught back up with the Alpha Tauri. This is probably going to be quite a close battle between these three if they stay this close.
And Noah, and somebody's had a little bit off-track excursion somewhere.
Whoa!
Can't see who that is specifically.
There are some proper battles going on at the lower end.
Proper camera work as well too. We know you are an actual esports camera operator as well too. That's fantastic. So that we have you in here, Scruffy, trying to bring the action from on board the multiple cars on the grid at the moment. There are multiple cars, and Ricardo must have been the one that had it spin because he's dropped 11 seconds and changed from everybody that's within about a second of each other as they weave and weave their way around here, getting used to those drying conditions for the first time of our motor race.
Here comes the sun. Do-do-do-do.
Yeah, here comes the sun. Exactly. Very Beatles-esque of you on that one.
Exactly, and here comes Luke Franklin on Luke ten Brinker. It's not exactly far off the Aston Martin ahead either. Thomas Hardwick ahead of the Aston Martin with Lenny Cook does have that penalty, and there's no way they can remove that short of having an extra
DRS is
penalty
enabled.
running at the pit.
Finally.
And this will make it very interesting. 10 laps remaining.
I got that just before the race control. Here we go. But they won't get it here, will they? I'm actually.
That is incredibly close.
Whoa,
between
Joshua
the two
Noah
cars.
as well.
Whoa. Woo, that's close. Wow.
And that's Ricardo retiring, I think, in the pit lane or retiring in the fence. I can't quite see the track map on that one, but I'm going to keep an eye on the battle between Joshua and Noah. You keeping an eye on the battle, of course, between everybody. You are keeping on that battle. The thing is, Noah through on Joshua. Joshua's going to want to come back on this one, and that's all behind the Lenny Cook party at the moment in P6. You can see it line astern. They're going to have the DRS activation. Oversteers them from Joshua, but keeps it.
Potentially going to have a move by Luke Franklin here at some point on Luke ten Brinker. The problem is, I don't think you can quite get past until the straights.
No.
There's not many overtaking opportunities around here. You've got to set yourself up for the perfect move. It's the only way you can get an overtake, and that's by getting a good exit through the last corner, or a good exit into that really tight left-hander following onto the right straight. It's just a case of getting it right. That's the thing with Hungary. There's no room for error. And there's the DRS of activation. He has done a proper
look at the weave. Exactly.
What
He
a
caught that
move.
one.
Woof! That was
there's
excellent. Whoa!
I don't think
But that's
Lenny Cook
great. Oh,
switch back. Lenny gets it.
old switcheroo, but technically he's got the DRS. This is a great battle to be watching from the car behind.
Oh, wow.
Oh dear, watch yourselves, gentlemen. It's
I'm
not
gonna
something you want to be doing.
I'm going to take a look on Lenny's rear wing, but then again, I'm going to have a look at Thomas. He's also very, very close to the back E2 lap line and further up the road as well. So multiple cameras, multiple views. Let's have a look. Helicopter cams actually gives them on the mainstream, I was going to say, a great view of the battles that are forming. They're just up the road there from Lenny Cook, but here it is. Will Jasper's now starting to slowly creep into Will. He's within a second and change. Peter Locke's having a lonely race. Well, lonely-ish at the moment because he's got E2 lap line and Thomas behind him right here.
This battle's starting to get supposed to be E2 lap line is lapping at the back heels of the AlphaTauri ahead.
Yeah, welcome along to some great racing at SwiftX. Oh, look at the weaving again that they're doing down the main straightaway.
Fantastic.
But it could be a run. Here it is. Peter
Oh,
and E2.
what a move.
Not over yet.
Still there.
Yeah.
That Alpha's still going to be there into the next corner. Will they send it down the outside? It's still on the rear wheel, but that is not quite enough. Can they do the old switcheroo? No, they can't. The 69 car trying to make a move, but not quite make it stick. They're still going to be there, though. It's not over yet. They've still got to get through one of the hardest sections of the track. They've especially got this chicane coming up, which is never fun at the best of times and very easy to get wrong. And it's going to allow the second AlphaTauri, Thomas Hardwick, to start catching up. Because they're going to battle hard.
And that's the reason why, Scruffy, I'm loving to be up in the broadcasting booth and not into those motor vehicles driving around this track at insane speeds. 309 now is the top speed. You can see how much the track has improved because it was barely 300 you're pushing earlier. Here we go. This is why they're the best in the business at SwiftX, because they have to drive their heart out and soul.
Yeah, do a quick jump back to Luke Franklin. He's right behind Williams ahead of Luke ten Brinker.
How much is
There's
DRS
the weave again.
How much is the DRS come into play here, my friend? I'm just trying to keep an eye on whether or not Peter's going to make a run here on E2. Not a lot, really, the DRS around here, isn't it? It's very short. Not
It
compared
makes
to
a difference
Baku
if you're close to the car ahead.
that we had last week, remember?
Oh yeah, that makes a huge difference. But Jasper 10 Hackett is dropping very far back off of Will Casson now.
I think it's because the track's drying up and he's got to use that racing line, remember? Because now comes fine braking points and accelerating points that he accelerated through the rain conditions, but you know go. If you want to go aboard with Peter, gives Peter putting pressure big time and E2 lap line for a potential podium.
Taking points off of AT Upper Line and right now would be very good for any driver because they're currently right at the top of the Drivers' Championship. They're right in the standings there. AT Upper Line are getting a much better exit through that section, it seems. We are going to have to give it a second. See what happens. Joshua Bashford.
Yeah.
Just going to restart your camera bigger, so I might just tab out for a millisecond. There we go.
Yeah, you're right, my friend. We're
Perfect. I'm back. The only downside with the game deciding to do that every time.
Yep, it does
Currently
that.
Peter Locker.
Luke Franklin as well too in the back.
Oh
yeah, pressure on that. If you keep an eye on that battle, actually, I'll keep an eye on this battle for P3.
It's so close, but of course Luke Franklin has the slight problem of being in the DRS train, which naturally means they get less use of the DRS. However, the Williams ahead is towing them towards the Aston Martin at some considerable speed on the straights.
It's 2 DRS parties in town. The DRS party in P3,
very
the DRS party from Lenny in P6. So, well, if you're an Aston Martin at the moment, you're basically the safety car 2.0, let's say, and 3.0.
Well, the main thing here is we're about to hit 5 laps remaining. Will has 5 laps to pull another 2 seconds.
He may be able to do it because I think Jasper's dropping time for sure. But I think Jasper's clever enough, of course, our Season 1 champion at SwiftX, knows exactly what to do. He knows he's just to keep within 3 seconds and he can steal this one away from Will.
But that's the thing, can he keep that time low?
That's true.
Now that there is no wet line.
Well, I mean, champions are champions. Look at the weaving once again down the main straightaway as they're doing.
It's fantastic because it's not even a weave. It's just a brilliant break of the. It's just a brilliant break of the toe.
It's all perfectly legal, of course, as long as you don't do it into the braking corner.
Whoa, no!
Lenny! Who's around? That's Luke, isn't it?
Whoa! That was both of them.
Oh. Yeah, you're right. Here it is.
Luke and Lenny, and I don't think either of them hit each other. There was no contact that I could see.
There's no damage, actually, believe it or not, on Luke's car. Let's have a look at Lenny's car. No damage, you're right.
I don't think there was any contact there. I think they both just spun.
Another local yellow. Maybe somebody's had another moment there. Actually, it's Jasper ten Hacker. No! Our championship leader has made a mistake. He has no damage on the car, but he's definitely made a mistake, and he could say goodbye, unfortunately, to the race win. It's over.
It's too short to the end of the race now. It'd be a hell of a comeback to win
Luke
now.
Franklin just got past an injury to insult to that one, but Jasper's got to get his head down and say, okay, all right, you know, I've won championships before. You don't have to win every single race, but that's just gut-wrenching, no doubt.
I mean, put it this way, it's lapping fast enough to overtake quite a considerable amount of the field. Four laps, you would have to be going at least 4 seconds a lap, and here comes the AlphaTauri of Peter Locker, easy as you like, round the outside of AT Lapalainen. But they're still not going to let him through.
No.
It's going to be close. It's very, very close. The Aston Martin's still alongside, and I think that's AT Lapalainen thinking better of trying a move there, because currently, of course, they're still in the podium position.
Absolutely, yeah. The problem is now, because Jasper ten Hacker had that spin, Will's got the race win. He's got a 6-second gap, so even with that penalty, is no problemo for him.
Absolutely.
It would have been closest to that nail biter towards the end, but we got nail biting everywhere. Don't bite your nails, boys and girls at home.
It's getting very, very close at the end of this race now. Luke Franklin catching up with Noah de Corpi halfway up, but it's a case of how much can he draw that gap in.
Yeah, Thomas got a 3-second penalty. Thomas is going to be very careful to get slapped of a 6-second penalty because he's on 5 warnings now.
Whoa.
And that one more means that he will definitely lose that position to Noah, but he's got a 3.2 second gap to the Ferrari. So if he can maintain it, he'll maintain a P4. Then again, you got a charging Luke down the road. You have the other Luke on Joshua. We'll get that position back off Joshua, no doubt, with Joshua having a 3-second penalty as well. But the focus is at the business end of the racing here in the dying stage. There's about 3 laps to go. And does E2 want to take that one back from Peter? Peter got that one. Couple of laps to go, the overtake, but the problem is, once again, well, we have the Aston Martin in a AlphaTauri sandwich.
I mean, the thing is, AC Lapalainen will want the position regardless. At the end of the day, you're not going to pass up second if you've got the pace for it. There's no point in trying to sit around and wait for third position.
Yeah, exactly.
And as much as, like, yeah, you could sit back safe and boom, you've got third position. However, there's a teammate behind him who will want to help them out as much as possible. You can't sit back and let that position hold because they're not going to let you hold it.
Do you think Peter and Thomas are going to talk? Oh, no, forget that one right now. Peter's got his first 3-second penalty. And that means E2 has this one.
And Thomas Harbeck will be the same. But,
Yes.
I mean, A2 will want to win this on the track. A2 will want to get it
Oh,
on
of
the track.
course. It's that guts and glory, isn't it? Crossing the line before everybody else, even though you're going to get it back in penalties. But it's still
Here
fun,
comes
and it's entertaining. Let's have a look.
Here comes the move, moving up on the AlphaTauri. Which way is he going to go? They're both trying to second guess each other. You can see, oh no, that was a big pod.
Oh,
And the Aston is going to send it through, and I'm not sure whether that was the AlphaTauri letting him through.
big power slide coming out of the corner from Peter. All right, just trying to hold in there. Good wheel-to-wheel racing. You got to be like if you're E2, you're like, all right, guys, I've already got this one. Luke Franklin makes his way past Noah. So there's Luke up into P5.
I will mention one thing. Technically, in 2 laps, if A2 Lapalainen is fast enough, they have enough to pull a second and a bit back per lap.
Yeah, I'll show the gaps to leaders at the moment so you can kind of figure out what that is. Now,
They're
I'm going to
only
show
3
everybody.
seconds.
They're all 3-second penalties. I won't pull that up. Actually, I can pull that up because they're on similar tyres at the moment. There's no point really showing the tyres. Yeah.
It's only a 3-second penalty. They'd have to pull back a 1.5-ish a lap. It's very difficult. But A2 Lapalainen could, in theory, beat Will Casson by countback.
Oh, he's going to get on 3 seconds, but this is interesting because Luke can steal these places. Luke is going to steal P4. Yep. He's on the bubble. Look at that, 2.9 now.
If he gets to 2.5, he'll steal P3.
And they're battling up the road, remember. Peter and his teammate, they have to be realizing this, don't they? Now it's 3.2. So Peter and Thomas have to be talking to each other going, Luke is approaching us drastically. Luke will get us if we don't maintain a 3-second gap. That is the key. They need to be working together. If Thomas is quicker than Peter, overtake each other. They're both on 3-second penalties. Luke's the one that's going to steal at least one of their positions away.
And if he gets to 2.5 or 2, which he can do in 2 laps, that's very, very doable.
He could get
He's
both.
only got to gain, what, 3/10? Like, that's easily doable in a lap.
So that's what you mean. If you are the AlphaTauri team, you've got to be working together.
Oh, look at that. He's getting closer and closer every single second. He's pulling it down. He's almost at 2.5, and it hasn't even been a quarter of a lap.
Yeah, I would be worried right now, Aston. AlphaTauris.
Absolutely.
Work together, guys. Got to work together. So that's it. They're battling for a potential final podium position.
That's it, I think.
And they might lose it completely to Luke.
Well, the thing is, Peter Lucker's now nearly a second behind AC Lapalainen, and they were closer than that previously, so they're falling back. Luke Franklin's almost about to hit 2 seconds.
Yeah, the comebacks of the season. Yeah, because Luke has come. Remember, he started P14 because he got disqualified during the qualifying.
Oh no!
That's Peter. What's happened to Peter?
Peter's round. Peter's spun, which means Luke Franklin is now within 1.7 seconds. He's going to take third on countback.
Absolutely.
And that's all it takes. As again, it's a difficult track. One mistake, and it's all it takes. And I do not care if that's a song lyric. No one carry on that one.
Is it really? Okay, I like that. Here we go. So Will's got it. E2 Lapalainen has got the P2. But now, as it's very noisy outside for me, Luke Franklin has stolen the other podium position. I don't think there's anything Thomas can do right now. Unless Luke makes a mistake.
Can Jesper Ten Hacken make a mistake? Yes. Can Jesper Ten Hacken force the Ferrari into a mistake?
That is very true, but we're going to have to go over to Will. Will's made a mistake!
No!
Will is out! I went to Will and he's not there! E2 Lapalainen now is going to take this one. I don't want to have anybody have a DNS, but E2 Lapalainen has no penalties.
Where's Will?
Can't see him.
Was that on the last corner?
It wasn't the last corner. E2 Lapalainen is going to have a smile on his face. So what just happened? You've just won the Hungarian GP in the last lap.
Where's Will? Track map, where's Will?
He went just DNF'd. That's it. I couldn't even go to him. And that's just wrapped it up really quickly at the end there. So close. What a dilemma. What a drama. And what SwiftX produces here. NordVPN, what have you done to us?
What on earth was that?
Oh, that's gut-wrenching for any driver. That's a
Oh
DNF
my
for sure.
word!
Well, then the E2 lap line, you got to be at the right place at the right time, right? So anything can happen in motorsports. It does happen in motorsports. E2 lap lining. You didn't get any penalties, my friend, and you only took 2 pit stops. And you got to do a dance of dances. 19 laps on the inters and 16 laps on the medium tires and the top step of the podium. Congratulations. You've won Hungary.
Absolutely, and that's incredible. Well, it's an incredibly late win, but my word.
Holy... Exactly, I agree out there in the chat. Yeah, we're going to go back, of course, to our non-picture-in-pictures anymore to see this podium celebration for whatever it's worth. Luke Franklin, wow, P14 to P2. Now, we thought P14 to P3 was very possible, but before that late momentum, we don't know what happened with Will. You read those results.
He just
for
broke
us,
traction on a curb and slid into the wall.
Yep.
From himself, that is his words.
Wow, go through those results for us there, please.
Absolutely, let's do this quickly. So, AC Lapalainen taking the win right at the death there, followed by Luke Franklin in the Merc. Then Jasper Ten Hagend in third, Noah Ilakorpi in fourth, Thomas Harbeck in fifth, Luke Tenbrink in sixth, Peter Lockett in seventh, Lenny Cook in eighth, Joshua Bashford in ninth, and Will Casson in 10th after that late DNF. And then Ricardo Gabetti, Neil Scheffner, AJ Jackson, and followed out by Korsgaard in 14th.
Unbelievable action, isn't it? I mean,
my word.
And you thought Abu Dhabi a couple of years ago, Formula One was exciting. Wow. Oh, and you got to think, with the gap that Will had, he didn't have to push.
No, well, no, he did, because of the fact that if he didn't push, then there's a real potential that it could just get way too close. But I just think, yeah, he probably didn't have to push that hard. And I mean, he just clipped the curb. And again, that's what I said about the curbs in this game. And it is a complaint I have about the game in a sort of balanced way. It's like curbs should be easy to predict. Curbs are easy to predict.
Well,
so
that does build the drama up to it anyway. But we will have to speak to drivers, and I think we already have E2 that's just so celebrated that. The Aston Martin driver. We'll pull E2 in here for a chapter, E2 Lapalainen.
Absolutely, that's just...
He can explain the whole heart rate through the roof there for the Aston Martin driver to probably go, I got a P2, and then all of a sudden he realizes, well, you know what? I got a race win. Let's get E2 in here. E2!
Absolutely.
Wow. Congratulations, my friend. You just got a race win when you probably didn't even expect it, but it happened, my friend. How was that race?
I don't know. I don't really know. I don't know what happened. I started on the Inters because I thought it was gonna, that really ruined the race, but I had no pace. Again, I mean, Baku was a bad track for me. This was even a worse track. I won it somehow, but I don't know what to say. I don't know what Cass did.
Did you see Casson? Because you were following behind him. I mean, he bended, I think, out of turn 13, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I realized it, like, when I was just behind him, just hit the left in front of me. So I was really surprised that we actually DNF'd there. But
now, you and Lenny were the only two drivers that only took one pit stop during the whole race. So you stretched those inters all the way to 20 laps. But by the way, how'd they feel towards the end there, 20 laps on the inters?
Actually, not bad. I was doing PB laps still. So, not bad. Didn't feel bad.
And that safety car kind of just threw everybody off in the span on the mix. You also had 2 warnings towards the end, but I don't think that was too much of a problem. And Luke was going to be approaching, but yeah. A race of just drama, right? All the way. There was... But you started in P2, of course, because we know that there was a DQ there from Will, so he had to start... Sorry, not my apologies, from Luke. So you just had to... How was the race start? How gingerly was it on the race start? Because the wet tires seem to be the supreme tires at the very start. I'm surprised that you managed to handle those enters for so long.
I was thinking that it would go dry a lot sooner than that. There was like a 30-second gap to me and Cass. So yeah, I mean, it didn't work. But the safety car kind of saved me at the end. But I mean, still, yeah, a really weird race, I would say.
Now, we knew this last week, and I'm going to pass this over to Scruffy. You sound a lot more excited this time around, don't you? Even
I
Kimmy-
couldn't talk.
Yeah.
I couldn't talk that loudly last week, so maybe now. But
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
you know,
We just thought that's
Yeah.
the finished thing. Get about Scruffy. Got questions, of course, for E2?
yeah.
Honestly, no, it's mostly been covered. It's just a case of, insane. Just
Yeah,
the
it
end
was.
of the race, just completely insane.
It was. Definitely wasn't expecting that.
Well, you finished.
okay.
You started P2. You were about to finish P2 before the drama at the end.
Yeah.
So a P1, take that any day of the week, of course. Well done
Yeah,
there for yourself, my friend. Anybody you want to shout out to before we go over to Luke?
No one. I mean, Cass. Thanks to Cass. No one. No one else.
You thanking the driver that spun out in the Mercedes anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, E2. We're going to pull the other Mercedes driver in that did a fantastic drive, and that's Mr. Luke Franklin, and then we'll get Jasper. Luke, welcome along to the interview box. What a drive. P14 up at a P2. We all know it's all over the place. I want to hear from you of your version of the race. How was it?
Yeah, admittedly, it didn't start very well. Obviously, with the qualifying incident, I'm a bit annoyed that that didn't get overturned, but I don't know, it is what it is. And then turn one got damaged, and then kind of had a lonely race until the safety car, and then it was just about coming back through the field as quickly as possible. Really, I knew I had the pace, so.
That's right. I'm looking at the telemetry at the moment. So you only did one lap on the wet tyres, and then you switched over to the inters. That was a bit of a gamble, my friend, because we were looking at people struggling, and the pace on those wet tyres was much more superior over the inters. Why did you choose the inters?
Like I said, I was having a bit of a lonely race, so I thought I'd try something. I had wing damage, so it didn't really make a difference to me.
And did you go into this race from P14, these changeable conditions, when you saw the game loading, going, oh my God, it's just bucketing down rain? How did you feel on that one? You're like, hey, actually, I might have a good chance of slicing through the field here. And what did you expect to be on the podium today?
Admittedly, after the race, after the quali, I didn't expect to be on the podium at all. But I was happy with the rain because it would kind of spice things up and kind of make it a bit more difficult for people. So I was hoping to kind of make moves doing that, but obviously that didn't work out, unfortunately. But just wanted to say GG to E2 as well. Obviously another race win, so he's doing really well.
And yeah, on top of that, just to remind everybody, Luke, you did set the fastest lap during qualifying. So
yes.
Yeah, you were on P1 for qualifying yourself. The Mercedes lockout was almost sealed and done until there was a DQ. They did review that one. We weren't behind the stewarding team of that one, but Ewa was elected to be like that. Even so, they can throw the spanner at the mix at you, my friend. You still managed to get your car on the podium. So that's got to feel even better, isn't it?
It's a good result. It's a good result, and hopefully no more disqualifies and the game being bad.
We know it's tricky, exactly, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. And but anyway, nothing can shut you down, Mr. Luke. Congratulations. So you did a fantastic job there. P14 up at the P2, driver of the day as well too, and the Mercs, keeping the Mercs looking good even when your teammate didn't have the best of moments out of that corner. I don't think we actually have, real quick there, we don't have Will. We'll have Jasper to chat in a second, but did you hear anything from Will about that?
All he said to me was he didn't know what happened and he ended up in a wall. So I don't know. He was probably pushing too hard and going for fastest lap or something stupid.
Scruffy, any questions there for Luke?
Again, not particularly. You covered most of them.
Oh, sorry, I'm still on your questions. You get to interview Jasper then, but yeah, congratulations, Luke. Yeah, that was interesting. It was surprising because I was just about to I was hitting the number 1 key on my keyboard to go, let's just watch Will cross the line, and then all of a sudden Will's gone, unfortunately. So, but you crossed the line, Luke. Congratulations on your P2 victory.
Thank you very much, and good job from you guys again this week as well.
Oh, we got picture-in-picture action, mate. You check it out later. We didn't miss a single thing. Thank you very much, mate. We're looking forward to seeing you in Portugal.
Yeah, wonderful. Catch you soon.
Yep. All right. And now, well, Scruffy, I'll let you do the interview here for Jasper. Jasper, welcome along. Scruffy's going to interview you now.
All right.
It's just a point. So, well, third position on the podium still. You were originally up in second as well at one point, and then there was just that slight error. What actually happened there going into just before the chicane?
Well, yeah, after the safety car restart, I was P2 behind Cass, and I saw I had the penalty. So I tried to stay within the 3 seconds range from him. But he was a bit too fast. He was gaining like 2/10 a lap, and I had to like push like a lot right to the edge. And I think I just overpushed a little bit, and just that corner is like very prone to some oversteer, and I pushed a bit too much. I lost the rear and just spun. It's a shame.
Yeah, exactly. But still got the podium because obviously Will went off in the penultimate corner, which is still a pretty good result coming out of the whole race, I would say.
Well, I mean, when I saw it, I couldn't believe it that he retired. And then when I saw it, I was still P4, and I overtook the P3 in the last corner. I think everyone missed it probably because of the chaos with Will, but
Yeah.
I overtook Noah in the last corner, which was quite a cool overtake, I think. But yeah, overall, I'm quite happy. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll have to jump in for a question because Jasper, you spoke to me at the start of the season. So look, you know what? I'm the world champion, right? Currently of SwiftX. Okay, I've wrapped up the Series 1. Now, Series 2, what to change? Turn off the racing line. Now, what we did see, we were speaking about what with Scruffy, is like your pace during the wet weather conditions was absolutely outstanding. You were quicker probably than almost everybody else. We know Will had a massive gap up the road there, but you were shaving that down tooth and nail. Is that because of the, I think Scruffy kind of maybe called this one, saying because the dry line starts to form, aka creating you an artificial racing line? Is that, explain why,
Well,
why
I
you were
think
quicker?
I have to admit that like the new season, I've not really had a lot of time to practice, so that's why I've been quite slow. And then I did qualifying, was not really going great as well. That were my first lap of the week, so when I saw it was full wet, I turned on racing line. So I do feel a bit guilty.
Oh,
but,
you did.
next
Okay,
week,
fair enough.
yeah,
All right, fair enough.
Next
Okay.
week I'll be back without line, so don't worry.
All right, it's available. We were just typing things up in the casting box, but you did a great job. And then so you go back to the dry conditions. I don't think you had the pace to match Will. Will, I have to say, was probably the quickest driver around the track before. And again, you got to finish across the line first, don't you? And unfortunately, Will didn't. But Jasper, mate, how's this season so far? It's been tricky. How you've been finding it? You are the world champion. With that racing line off, going to Portugal right now, there's your roller coaster ride. Are you going to be continuing to not use the racing line?
Oh, definitely. That was the plan when I won last year. Of course, I won driver and constructor, so I was like, okay, if I ever want to try and learn, I think this season is the best season to do it. So I've like committed to it, and I knew from the start I wasn't really going to fight for the championship again. But I take that. I want to learn it, and then I think this is the best way to do it. And the start, of course, is difficult, but I think it's quite fun as well, because last season I was like, usually Emir was up the road, and then there was me, and then there was a big gap. I didn't really battle a lot, and now I'm in fights like all the time. And I want to keep it off as well this season. But when I saw the full wets, I think I had to turn it on, because I didn't want to be like a hazard for the others. So I just I turn it on. But for next week, I'll be back to no line again. So I hope to make some improvements and then go back to my old pace.
Well, that's fine. Yeah,
eventually.
it's available. So remember, I mean, all the other assists are practically turned off, but the racing line is something that the drivers could choose, and that's perfectly fine. And I guess you that's very admirable of you, because you don't know with that spray coming up where to hit the breaking points and stuff like that. It's a challenge, and I like to see how you're challenging yourself. It's basically like some of those Formula 1 drivers at the moment that if you keep winning and over again in your championship cars, drop yourself back down to a Haas or a Williams or something like that and see how you go if you could win a championship. Well, you are in a Williams, and you're certainly doing a great job. Scruffy, I've stolen the interview again from you, but yeah.
No, it's fine. I mean, unfortunately today I've just been very tired, so it's been very difficult to think up questions.
We've had multiple interviews last season already, so I think it's like we know what to do.
Excellent. Any shout outs to Jasper? To anybody that's listening?
I don't know. Maybe a shout out to my teammate actually, because we were in a call together and he had the strategy on lock. Really, he was the first one to go to the Intis, and I think he made the right call. And then he made the right call on slicks again, but he got a bit unlucky with the safe truck coming out. But he was on it today with the strategy, so I think a shout out to him.
Yeah, Lockie, right? As you're mentioning, your other Dutch comrade, the Williams Racing team. He started on P10 and finished in P6, so Williams Racing team did a fantastic job. You started P9 and finished in P3. The 2 pit stops, and speaking of your teammate, he went 7 laps wets, 11 lap inters, and 16 lap on the mediums. You started also on those wet tires. Final question as well, too. Wets to inters, if you could restart the race again, would you still stick with the wets, or would you change to the inters?
Yeah, definitely. I would stick to the wets. I saw some people starting on inters, but it was way too wet. You could see someone like Ido as well. I could drive away like 20-25 seconds, and when I eventually pitted for the inters, I still came out ahead of Ido. So I think no, I would have started on the wets. It was just way too slippery to start on the inters, I think.
Thank you very much. There you go. You know better than us. You're the ones who are driving around the track here in Hungary. Congratulations. Looking forward to seeing you in Portugal.
Thank you, mate. Thanks.
And there it is, Scruffy. What a race, mate. Changeable conditions,
Absolutely.
changeable drivers, changeable positions, damage, only a couple of retirements. Neil's had another great run there, so for the German driver. Unfortunately, we lost AJ and Korsgaard very early into that race. Also, Ricardo for the Red Bull did eventually have to retire, but that's just your 4 retirements and changeable conditions in Hungary, you'd have to say, is not a bad result in the Formula 1 game.
No, not at all. I think just bring on again, like putting my point of bring on the next race. But yeah, but it's genuinely bring on. Well, for the first time in the league, actually, they're bringing on the Portuguese Grand Prix.
There we go, and that's speaking of the devil right there. There is your calendar. So next weekend we're heading to Portugal, exactly as you mentioned there, one of your favorite tracks, and then a little bit of a break. It's been, well, I think everybody needs a break, and it needs a cool down. Scruffy. Yeah. It's been absolutely fantastic casting this one again. And for the very first time, of course, for the SwiftX series, we've got that fantastic picture-in-picture action. So if I missed something, I guarantee you Scruffy did not miss anything, did you?
That's it. I'm glad that works, because it genuinely looks really good.
Thank you very much to NordVPN, of course, our major sponsors, and all the other sponsors of eShop Nordic and Digital Motorsports, and Gridfinder, of course, to find all these fantastic drivers and fantastic leagues. That's it from the Biggles and Scruffy. We'll see everybody here, and of course, a big thank you to everybody in the chat. We saw a lot of what's and holy and all that jazz that came towards the end, because unfortunately Will had spun in the penultimate corner and lost it. E2 Lapalainen has won the race. Luke Franklin and Jasper Tenhaken are on the podium next to them. Stay tuned for more fantastic racing at the SwiftX Motor Series. Round 4 coming up next week. Good night.
Good night.
It's timeless. I hate you, drama.